You're listening to I Know All About That with Joe and Curtis.
I don't need anybody else's opinion. I know what I'm talking about
There's a lot of confidence there.
because it's me. Suck it up, buttercup, and let's do it.
Well,
Can you do that?
maybe we don't know all about that.
Well, take number 2. I did not hit record on the old soundboard.
That's fine.
Thankfully, we only got probably, 10 minutes in.
Maybe.
Not too far.
No.
And the moment of realization was pretty gut-wrenching for me.
Yeah, because you were right in the middle of something, and then you just happened to look over and see that light was not red.
Well, anyways, here we are. Welcome to I Know All About That. Thanks for joining. This is not Dad, by the way.
No, I'm not. I'm not Curtis's dad once again.
Although you and Dad are the only two people that I know who have been capable of rocking a mustache pre-Top Gun.
So it started out as a joke.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah. Like we talked about in the take
Yeah.
one.
Hey, they don't know that.
Yeah, but I have this innate ability to grow this nasty neck beard, and I was looking pretty trashy, and I shaved everything off, and I left this old stash laying there. And then when my wife came home, to my utter bewilderment, she actually liked it.
She liked it.
Yeah, and it stuck.
That's crazy.
So that's been like almost 2 years. Well, I'm probably working on about a year or more. 2 years, every bit of it, yeah. And then I just really let it go here lately. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking about trying to do the.
You gonna curl it out?
I may if I can.
I think
keep
you
going.
probably should do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say you should go ahead and do that.
Yeah. give it a try.
Listen, you, my dad, Dale Earnhardt, only 3 guys I know. R.I.P.
Praise Hill, praise Dale.
You're the only 3 guys I know that can rock a stash.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad had one too.
Really?
Yep, a big one. And then another guy, the other guy that I would give a huge mustache cred to is one of my buddies' his dad's, Kevin Side. Like he's always had a pretty gnarly stash
Yeah,
too.
I mean, that's a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Like when you're rocking a stash like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
you've got confidence.
For sure. And it's something that,
Oozing.
yeah. I mean, I got a lot of things oozing, but confidence is sometimes not one of them. But yeah.
No, you got a lot of confidence.
Hell yeah, man.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us here for this episode. Take 2 of this episode, but that's all right.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and jump into it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sitting here with Mase.
Yeah.
And that's what you go by.
Yeah. Big Mase.
Big Mase.
Zach Masner. Z-A-C-H. Masner.
Zach Masner.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I'm doing some different types of episodes here. We've, long story short, we've had to put Dad on indefinite leave.
Yeah.
And he's been falling asleep during recordings.
Yeah, you can't do that.
And you just can't do it. So there's been a lot of emails flying around. HR's getting involved, and we finally decided,
Yeah.
let's put the hammer down,
Yeah.
make a statement.
Yeah.
He'll come back. He'll come back stronger
Yeah.
than he was
Sometimes
before.
there always has to be that guy that needs to be the example,
And
like
he's
whenever.
that. Yeah. He's
Sometimes
that guy.
things like that happen. Yeah.
And so, the thing is whoever's in this seat has to have a mustache.
Yeah.
That's the
Well, I'm
rule
glad
moving
I
forward.
made the
Are
cut.
you liking the headset?
It's kind of throwing me off with the cord, like I'm not
different.
sure to go in front or over or.
I like to go in front.
Yeah.
Dad's notorious for, and I'm sorry if you're listening because you're going to hear a lot of stuff here. Dad, he's over here lassoing cows with his
The whole time.
during the show.
Yeah.
And I got it. They do fine. They make a little bit of noise, but
Yeah.
they actually don't translate super. Like you don't hear them much
Really? Yeah.
in the actual.
I
recording.
cannot believe the other sound quality of these headsets. Like
They're pretty sharp.
you were talking about Dale Earnhardt. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm ready
Pretty
to go.
cheap.
I'm ready to go to the tower.
That's what Dad said.
Yeah.
He said he's a airline pilot and a crew chief.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he feels
I'm ready
like.
to go to the tower for
Yeah.
sure.
No, I picked these headsets because I didn't want to train Dad on how to use like an actual microphone.
Right. And it's tough. Like we battle
Yeah.
that. We battle that sometimes too. Like especially when we have
And by the way, he's saying we. I didn't get to that.
Oh.
The Wandering Dutchman.
Yeah.
Is a podcast that you're a part of.
Yes.
Fantastic.
I
But what are
appreciate
you
it.
battling with microphones?
Well, like when we bring people on, so like our spinoff show, we do another show called In Depth with the Dutchman when we bring other people that are have never been on a mic before and like
It's a
trying
lot.
to get them to lock in and you know you
Yeah.
pretty much got to eat it the whole time you're talking, you know. But you know it's not that bad.
Well, and having people wear headphones is good because
You
they
can
at
hear
least
themselves.
they have a sense of like, oh, I'm not as loud as I was before. I need to get closer.
Right.
I didn't want to go through that with Dad.
Taking all the guesswork.
We already
out.
have enough hurdles to jump over.
That's fine. Yeah.
With a regular show.
It happens, man.
And I don't need a bunch of technical hurdles.
No.
If somebody's going to make a mistake, it's going to be me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to not hit record. That's the mistake that I'm going to make.
Hey, I know you're a clean show, and it's a famous it's a famous quote from our friend
Let her fly.
Forrest Gump.
Oh, yeah.
Shit happens.
Oh, that's true.
Yes,
It's
you know
true.
what I mean. So
It's true.
Yeah, man. We lost. Everybody knows we lost
You lost an entire episode.
2 hours
Yeah.
with
And
some of our friends.
You
That
guys
was,
do long episodes.
Yeah, pretty crucial.
That's-
We lost a big interview. And,
That's tough.
But it's all right. Because
Happens.
it happens, and then we're going to take from that what we it's a learning experience,
Yeah.
and we're going to move on, and that's what we did.
Absolutely. Well, listen, before we get into talking about starting a podcast, because that's actually on my list here,
Yeah.
stuff to talk about, I'm just going to start out with Dad. I like to always start out with a few like facts, or I work in some facts just to get his opinion on it.
Okay.
I'm going to do the same thing
All right.
with you
Good.
and just see how you feel about it. Take a look. We got our screen over here.
Okay.
These are random facts.
Okay.
I just want to start some conversation. The
Yeah.
first speeding ticket took place in 1896. The lawbreaker was going 4 times the legal speed limit, which was 2 miles per hour. Dude was going 8 in a 2. What a psycho.
Oh man.
Man, 5-mile chase ensued. I don't know. I mean, can you imagine that? A 5-mile chase
And they caught him and fined him 1 shilling.
1 shilling. I don't know.
What do you think he was? What do you think What do you think his method of travel was?
I really feel like wheels had to be involved.
You think?
I think there was I would like to imagine it was a chariot. Like a 2-wheel. It wasn't like a wagon. It was built for speed.
Yeah.
4 times.
Like the
speed
movie,
limit.
like the movie Ben-Hur, like
Yeah.
when they're on them chariots. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, let me tell you something about a chariot.
Okay.
All right? Every year it's tradition for my wife's side of the family to go to Amish country.
Oh, yeah.
And we have this meal cooked for us. This Amish lady will like cater meals at her barn. It's fantastic.
Oh wow.
All right. We went there. We just went there last weekend, but last year was an absolutely incredible experience. It was raining the whole time.
Yeah.
So the kids didn't get to play outside,
Right.
but they had a little 8-year-old Amish boy
Right.
who decided to entertain us.
Okay.
And this dude comes whipping around the barn on a chariot pulled by a pony. I'm not making this up. This is real life.
I can relate.
And this is going to sound like I'm making this part up, but I'm telling you, it's verified.
Okay.
When he came, because it was storming, he came around that barn, and in the background, lightning struck.
No way.
I'm not even joking.
No.
It was a white pony chariot. This kid was majestic. We called him Lightning the rest of the night. I let my kids ride once, and then I got on there, and I was like,
Nope.
let her eat, boy. Open her up.
Oh my goodness.
And so we were whipping around that property with that pony pulling us. We about flipped it over
I
one time.
guarantee it. That's
It was so
nuts.
much fun.
It would take a big pony if I were to be involved.
Well,
you know what I mean.
I think you probably still could break that 2-mile-an-hour speed limit. With old
It's
lightning
wild,
pulling
you know. Crazy how times have changed.
It's a little different. I mean, think about that now, though. That's
8.
like going, to make myself to not have to do a lot of math here.
Right.
That's like going 100 into 25.
Yeah. Yeah.
That does deserve a chase.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And
you're
probably
right.
at least 1 shilling.
That's for sure.
I'm surprised there wasn't a lashing involved there. Roller coasters were invented to distract Americans from sin. This is verified from the internet.
Got to be true.
In the 1880s, I don't even know.
Say that. Hosiery.
You know that word?
It's hosiery.
What's that mean?
A hosiery businessman, Lamarcus Thompson. I don't know. I would figure a hosiery would be somebody that makes pantyhose or socks
That's
or
probably
something.
what it is.
Yeah, it's got to be.
So, Lamarcus Thompson hated that Americans were tempted by hedonistic places like saloons and brothels.
Yep.
So he set out to straighten up one of the most immoral places he could think of, Coney Island,
Oh, goodness gracious.
New York City. There he built America's first roller coaster to give New Yorkers some good, clean fun away from the seedier pastime. Seedier.
Yeah, he's got to be making socks, like those big, tall ones, so they probably weren't. That way they won't show their legs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those big, tall socks.
He probably, for the men, he was making what are those called? Like the knickerbockers?
Yeah, knickerbockers.
Yeah. So roller coasters
Especially
were,
in New York.
Yeah, invented to distract Americans from sin.
That's nuts.
And now, they're all over America.
Yeah. Pretty wild, the change.
The guy was a missionary.
Yeah, I mean, he's a trendsetter.
He really was.
Yeah. That's crazy facts, man. I get down on some of these. Like this would qualify as a rabbit hole type thing where you could just.
Oh, you could go deep.
Oh my God,
yeah.
we've talked about it on our show several times. Like
you guys are fantastic at taking something like that and just going down.
Oh man, we could.
Which the thing about a fact like that, this is why Dad is on leave right now.
Is that right?
Because he would say, "Huh," and that's it.
Or I think he said earlier, I don't want to talk about that.
He did. He literally said that. I'm like, Dad, this show is called I Know All About That.
Yeah.
Which is a quote from you that I heard all the time as a kid.
I know all about that.
I know all about that.
I don't want to talk about
I don't want to talk about it, though. I don't want to know. Like, we get into the conversation about the GOAT basketball player, which I only bring up to get a rise out of.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to talk about it. Nobody needs to know what I think.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's what we're here for. So, Dad, if you're watching this, which he'll be watching this episode.
You think he will?
Oh, and he'll be steaming.
Oh, no.
Especially when he sees you have a mustache.
Oh, no.
I didn't tell him that when I told him.
No.
So, yeah, you guys started the Wandering Dutchman, which is, if anybody is listening or watching this show that's not from our local area, that's not friends or family, first off, thank you for being a part of the show.
That is right.
But also, we live in a very small community.
Very
small. It seems like things get here later.
Oh yeah,
rest of the world.
I think there was a quote that we put on our show from someone that was not from here, that either was a transplant or just visited, and they said that was one of the things that they enjoyed the most about our area, as that we were 25 years behind the social decay of America. I don't know.
I know they meant it as a compliment, but that doesn't come across as a compliment.
I guess it's slower times. You know what I mean?
It is slower times.
Oh yeah, you got to wait in line for the tractor and
for sure.
You got the trains, and it's just yeah.
Oh, the trains. Let me tell you.
Oh God,
the town that you live in Huntingburg.
I live in Holland, but I work in Huntingburg.
So you get it. Huntingburg is a very small town, but there's a north side of the track and there's a south side of the track.
That is right.
There's a Dollar General on each side of the track.
There
should
is.
tell you something.
There is.
About, first off, how important Dollar General is. Second, how bad that train is.
Yes. We have an overpass specifically for the trains and emergency vehicles.
Yeah. And it will that train will block town. Sometimes it will sit for 45 minutes.
Sometimes it'll sit for 4 hours.
Yeah.
We have a huge Norfolk spur. This is a big main hub. Like the Huntingburg Rail Yard has been around since dinosaurs, I assume.
Yeah.
But the Norfolk Spur, I mean, this is a huge yard. Like this is when the big main line that comes in from the west, St. Louis and everything, and then it just keeps on going east to Louisville. Like that's where we're at. And like they switch and then they unhook and they do track maintenance. It's a big deal around here. Like we're in train country. So
man, I've been fuming before in my vehicle.
Yes. Because you get stuck. You can't go. The semis.
And people say, well, just take the bypass. Well, sometimes getting to the bypass is hard.
Yeah.
And if the factories are letting out,
Game over.
you might as well just sit and wait. Turn the truck off.
Yeah. I am a street worker. Like I work in town every day.
You guys probably get stuck all the time.
It's a nightmare.
I can't even
we deal a lot with it. Yeah. So
that's frustrating.
But yeah, no, the show, the Wandering Dutchman podcast is something that that Casey and David and I, we started, we're 29 episodes. So
It's awesome.
this coming Friday.
Weekly.
Yeah. Excuse me. This coming Friday, whatever the hell the date was, is whenever our episode 129, we say 129. But it's season 1.
Yeah.
Episode 29. Yeah, so we're
Well,
almost.
when I first found the show, by the way, I was like, dang, these guys have done 105 episodes already. And then I realized you guys, it's a smart way to do it.
It's a little coating.
It looks good, though.
It's a little coating, Smoke Dragon. He put that in there.
Are you ever going to do season 2, or are you just going to let it ride?
Oh, no. We're going to go, once we get to 52, then we'll start back over with 201.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that way
cool.
we can keep everything like in chronological order, and we kind of know what's going on. But
I started with this episode. I literally it's 001.
Yeah.
And then that's and I put the 3 numbers because
there's a future there.
I would love to get
Yeah, man.
to that 100 mark.
It's a goal. So like with us, like we more since we're a weekly show, we think that the consistency and like coming out with content every week, and the Wanderers got to have it. Like we have like that's we our following. We call them the Wanderers because they have a lot of input on our show, and we have mentioned some breaks to where we for some mind clearing, and they're not happy about it.
Yeah,
because it's becoming a thing, and I am super stoked about it, man.
Yeah, it's awesome, and we were talking about it off camera before I hit record, and we were talking about just the ins and outs of producing a podcast.
Oh my gosh!
I don't want to go deep into it because I want people to really.
Oh, we can.
We can,
but we don't have to.
We don't have to
because they know.
They get it.
Because we vented enough. If they've listened to our show, like we've vented enough.
And on this show, they know all about it.
Yeah.
So, me and Dad, we batch produce a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I drip it out.
Yeah.
And so sorry to ruin it and burst anybody's
steady
bubble.
drip.
But if you notice, like in the first 3 trivia episodes, we're wearing the same clothes. I hate to tell you.
It's the same
The
day.
next 3 trivia episodes, we're wearing the same clothes too. Because we're recording at the same time. And you guys are on this weekly cadence, which, man, that is a battle. But there's a lot of
It's a grind.
It's a grind, but, there's a lot of like energy that comes from that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one of the things, like, I think I wore Dad out a little bit because I was batch recording long episodes with him, and that's
tough.
Exhausting for a guy who's 61 going on 109.
Oh God.
It's
you
tough.
better quit, man.
It's tough.
You better quit.
He's gonna be so mad at me.
You better quit.
I'll rail him on this episode. He'll be all right. But
oh shoot.
Yeah, it's a grind for you guys, but I'm loving it. You guys are killing it, and what I love the most about your show is that like local businesses are seeing it as a great opportunity for them to advertise. It's good for them, great for you. It's so cool.
I don't know. We talked about this. David and I and Casey, like we never in a million years thought. So when this whole thing started, which I don't want this to whole be like the origin story. Like I don't want to.
No, that's fine. I'm fine hearing some origin stories.
But like when we started this, we were at my house on an evening in November. It was like actually October-ish. Campfire, drinking beer, hanging out. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about the dumbest stuff. Like I don't even know what we were talking about. And it was like, you know what we should do? We should start a podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy cow. We should start a freaking podcast. Because Smoker's like, I got everything.
Yeah.
I got microphones. I got mic stands. I got mic cords. I got a mixing board. We got iPhones.
What are we waiting on?
Like, when you want to go now? You
Yeah.
know, and I'm like, no, because I can't drive.
Well, listen, I love that you mentioned iPhones. I love that you guys started with video.
Oh.
A lot of people make the mistake of starting audio only.
Well,
you
and
just can't get by doing that
So
anymore.
I was not a huge fan of that idea in the beginning.
Yeah, I bet, because it's a lot more work.
Well, no, because I look like crap on camera. And I was just like, man, I don't want to be staring at a camera and all this stuff. But when Arlo, and then, so we started, and then, but David was a huge proponent. So we started out with an old junky iPhone that somebody had. And then we swapped, no, I think it was like a GoPro. Like it was a JVC GoPro that was like that
Oh,
big.
my goodness.
Is our first, and if you go back and look at episode 101,
Probably pretty rough compared to what you
holy
guys.
moly, it looks bad. And
It
but
looks
you know,
like you guys started podcasting in 1995.
yes, with a JV, like with the old VCR or
But
RCA.
it's only been like 8 months.
yes,
And now you guys look like you're up to
professionals.
date. Yeah.
That's so crazy. But like we started in the beginning, we were like, holy cow, people make money doing this, and this is nuts, and holy cow, this is cool and stuff. And then like the very first person that reached out to me, my father-in-law, Jay Maxey, that owns the barbershop here in town.
Okay, yeah.
Maxey's Barbershop, the OG original 001 sponsor. And he's like, hey, you guys give me a little plug every now and then. I'll keep your refrigerator full when you record.
There you go.
And we were like, holy shit, Nike.
That's worth it right there
Somebody's
for
going to buy us a case of beer, to get us started. And then after that, we started getting like beef jerky dropped off, and then like all kinds. Like,
man.
it was just, it's so silly how this all works. And then we got invited over to hang out with the Merkley boys, where we met them for the first time, and then like Bill started, but that's where we forgot to hit. We didn't forget to hit the button.
You guys hit it. You just had some technical malfunctions.
Big ones, because
Big
but like Arlo said, because Smoker was sick, and Casey was
I
like,
can't
oh my
imagine.
God, they're gonna hate our guts. We're never gonna come back again. And I'm like, no way, they're fine,
Yeah.
So I called them immediately the next, because we recorded on Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, man.
And I called him on that Monday when everybody was already like hating their lives because it was Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got bad news, man. Terrible news. And he's like, what? What could have possibly happened? I'm like, we lost the whole episode. He's like, you get bullshit, and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, man, I swear. He goes, well, I guess that just means we got to do her again. And I was like, see, I told you didn't need to flip out,
Yeah,
But
that's awesome.
no, but
No, that's good. And you guys,
podcasting, it's insane. Like, I love it. I think it's awesome.
podcasting is the new radio.
Yeah.
Like I've had this discussion with Dad.
Yeah.
And that's what is so exciting about this format, in that people will give you money to do it. I mean, we did we did episode 1, and then my big strategy for this show is to cut out clips of me and Dad, like funny 60-second clips. And
For
that's
sure.
where our bread and butter is.
Yes.
And I put those all over the internet. And we had one go viral on TikTok.
That's awesome.
1.5 million views, which is
Unreal.
just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And from that, Manscaped
Yeah.
reached out.
That's awesome.
Which, listen, Manscaped.
Yeah.
That they reached out, and I was like, "Are you sure? Like, did you mean to do this? Is this an intern that reached out accidentally?
Yeah, like, who is this guy?
And they're like, "No, we want to sponsor the show." And I said, I don't like this. First off, we just started.
Yeah.
Second off, at the time we were recording in a church.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you're familiar with Manscaped, it's pretty rough around the edges.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
In terms of their marketing is very
Edgy. Yeah.
I mean, very
Yes.
edgy.
Which
And-
I could tell you a story that we learned from another guy that originally was sponsored by Manscaped. And I'll tell you off air, like, how he got that. and it's pretty funny.
Yeah, they're very edgy. And so basically, not only that, and then I was like, we just started. We're a clean show.
Yeah.
And so they have a PG version of the ad reads. So
Right.
we took that. And then I thought, you know what? Let's go ahead. They said, well, let's just give it a test run. And I said, let's give it. That's fine. Because I knew that no matter what, if it worked or not, it would be hilarious making my dad do a Manscaped ad read.
Talking about intimate shaving.
So they sent. He's like, well, why would you need to do that? Why would you need? And I'm like, listen, let's not get into that. Let's just read the paper. Read off the paper.
This is not. Why would you need to do that?
Just read off the paper, man. So they sent us some product.
Oh, man.
They sent us each product.
Did you get a lawnmower?
I got lawnmower, nose trimmer,
What?
some deodorant for areas. I got a T-shirt. We got underwear.
Oh my
Dude,
goodness!
that in and of
gracious.
itself was worth it.
Huge. That's awesome.
And so we did it, and we didn't pass the test because I knew we wouldn't.
Didn't make the cut.
We didn't make the cut. We had 2 people order using our coupon code, which I was like, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but it's crazy that it took very little to get to that.
Yeah.
You know, so I just think it's really awesome watching you guys do a ton of local ad stuff, and we're going to be starting to get into that this summer.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun because I come from a background of making advertisements for people, so I feel like this is just another iteration of that, but through the lens of comedy, because I want to be a comedian when I grow up.
Oh yeah.
That's my goal.
You you've got some cojones, man, because that's which Arlo has said the same thing to me, and you have said something to me about it too. Like, have you ever thought about trying it? And I'm like, no way. Like, no way. Like, I think that I could tell stories and they would be funny, you know, but like, I don't know, man. I think I would get up there and freeze and just be scared to death.
It's a different beast, because I had a lot of people tell me that I should try to do stand-up. They're like, because I'm a good storyteller, so they're like, you would make a great stand-up comedian.
Right.
But I also knew that telling a story face-to-face is different than standing on the stage with a mic, the lights on, and everyone's just sitting and waiting, and they're not going to talk back to you.
No.
It's not a conversation.
Mm-mm.
And so I was in Chicago 1 week for work, and I thought, you know what? I've been writing material for 3 years, just the hopes of one day I could work up the guts to get on stage.
Right.
I was in Chicago for work, found an open mic, signed up, got drawn, went up, killed it.
Nice.
And I was like, oh no.
What have I done?
I might be able to have a shot at this.
Oh, man.
The next night, found another open mic, went up, bombed.
Yeah.
0 laughter.
Yeah.
Got off the stage. I was more excited about that
Yeah.
than doing well. And that's when I realized,
Yeah.
I like this.
This is nuts. Yeah, because
that fueled me.
I think that whole Chicago thing is the ticket, though. Like, getting the hell out of the town that you're from. Like, you gotta go.
This is tough. It's tough around here. I'd like to start an open mic.
Right.
I think it'd be fun locally to have people.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great opportunity for you to get up there and give her a shot. You know?
We've maybe been in communications with some people that maybe we'll have to talk about that sometime.
Yeah, we will, because I reached out to somebody, and we might have accidentally reached out to the same person. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I think there's an opportunity for it. Like, I've actually been texting with a comedian from Chicago today.
Okay. Right.
And we were texting back and forth, and because he runs a mic that I went to up there, and he followed me on Instagram afterwards, and he's been liking my stuff, and I told him, like, it's really hard to, like, I kind of need to start a mic around here because otherwise I have to go to Nashville, Indy, or when I'm in Chicago.
Yeah.
And that's tough to do.
It is.
There's closer stuff in Bloomington, but what a lot of people don't understand about open mics is a lot of clubs make you bring people with you.
Oh, really?
So every show in Bloomington is what's called a bringer show, meaning you have to bring 4 to 5 people.
Oh.
Paying, because open mics are free for the comedians. And so they're like, you got to bring 4 to 5 paying customers in order to get on.
So you got to have a squad with you.
It's just tough to do.
Yeah.
And so that kind of takes Bloomington out
Yeah.
out of the equation. But
Right.
anyways, I'm a huge fan of stand-up comedy. I always have been, and now that I've got like this taste of it, and I've done a bunch of open mics,
Yeah.
and I'm really working on material. In September, I've got my first paid gig opening for a comedian at a
Nice.
private event, and like I'm like scared,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I'm like, I can't believe someone is going to pay me
Yeah.
to tell jokes.
Like I said, dude, like an old jester, you know,
Yeah.
like make me laugh. Well, let's real quick before we get too far on. I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, go for it.
With this whole podcasting thing with your dad and stuff like that, how did you start, or where does your podcast where did your podcast journey start? Like maybe as a listener, not necessarily as a producer or a creator, but like where did your podcasting journey start? Like how did you start?
Yeah, it really started as a listener.
Yeah.
You know, I listened to a lot of comedy
Right.
podcasts, and at the time when I first started listening, I actually listened to a lot of like career type stuff because I was in this mode of like trying to find my way
Right.
in my career.
Right.
And that's kind of how I started. And then I actually worked at a church for a few years, and I produced a lot of podcasts for them. That got me excited about actually like working with microphones and audio editing and stuff
yeah.
like that. And
Yeah.
I really started enjoying putting together like a show. And then I went out on my own freelancing and picked up a client, local client here, who I now work full time for.
Yeah.
And my first gig with them was producing a podcast, and which is wild. And for that particular company to start a podcast,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes sense now.
Yes.
But at the time, it was kind of weird. And now we're 130 episodes in
Holy cow.
to that podcast. We've also started like 3 other podcasts.
Right.
And so I just went on this like absolute tear of like I've produced hundreds of episodes of podcasts now.
Yeah.
And I just love the art form, like even more so than video production, which was kind of my original trade.
Right.
Now that I'm working full time for that company, life is actually a little slower than owning my own business.
For sure.
And freelancing.
Yeah.
And so I started doing this on the side with Dad, something I've wanted to do for a while.
Yes.
And that all was kind of in conjunction with me starting to do stand-up comedy at open mics.
Right.
And what's tough is like I can't always get to an open mic, right? Like I might only get to be able to be at like 5 or 6 open mics in a year
For sure.
if I don't try really hard.
Yeah.
And so this podcast is a way for me to kind of flex and work out that comedy muscle
Yeah.
a little bit and kind
Yeah.
of keep at it.
Earn your chops per se.
Absolutely.
So we did a huge interview, the Dutchmen and I. We did a huge interview. We went up to Indianapolis and met with another investigative podcaster, true crime guy. In our eyes, we thought he was a pretty heavy hitter. He's like, you guys need to set your bar a little higher. But stand-up comedian and well-known Bob and Tom guy. He's been on Bob and Tom several times, and his name Todd McComas.
yeah.
And the first time I ever met Todd was over at the Astra in Jasper for a stand-up show. Him and Jeff.
he's done the Astra.
Yeah, him and Jeff Oskey.
I'm
and,
trying to book some shows at the Astra.
Yeah,
this
Jeff
year.
Oskey and Todd, and then man, Todd's gonna be so mad because I can't remember the guy, the MC, the dude that ran the show. But anyway, they were all funny dudes, super funny dudes. So Todd was a retired state police officer. He was an undercover detective.
Oh wow.
So he took a lot of his content and a lot of his bits were from literally a lot of investigations that are obviously declassified that he can talk about
Yeah.
and laugh about now. And it's like we had a huge talk about you mentioned something about TikTok and like Instagram Reels and like all these things. And he said that it's it's sad because that is killing comedy clubs.
It is.
TikTok and Reels and all these things, he said, he goes, they are hilarious, like you said earlier, because they're short. They're only 60 seconds. It's easy to keep people retained. It's easy to get people to watch.
Yeah.
All these little bits and stuff. And Todd was saying it's tough for someone to earn their chops, to get like, I guess you would say, battle hardened, for lack of better words.
Man.
But like you said, like being able to bomb and be like, man, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't have to bomb anymore. If it doesn't go well, you just delete the video.
Yeah. Like you just
Or
take
move
it,
on
you
to the
just
next
take it
one.
down.
I tell you what, I've loved being in Chicago for open mics because I'm really like getting a little bit deeper dive into the comedy community. Which,
right.
by the way, getting into comedy is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
I in no way, shape, or form think that I am a comedian now, or will I be in the next 5 years? I don't know. My Instagram profile just says wannabe comedian.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what actually classifies you.
I don't know.
As a comedian.
I don't know where the prerequisites are to be
But I do
labeled.
know there's a lot of people trying to do it,
Yeah.
and it's hard.
Yeah.
And you've got that's something you've got to pay your dues.
I bet your dad would know this one. What is the old saying? There's 10,000 comedians out of a job, and you're still trying to be funny. You ever heard that?
No, but that's so accurate.
That was. I worked at a coal mine back in the day, and that was a bunch of those guys back there. Which, shout out to all my coal bros back at Peabody. I would try to be funny, or I would try to do something to kind of lighten the mood, and one of them old crotchety suckers would be like, "You're 10,000 comedians out of a job, and you're trying to be funny." You know what I mean?
It's even better coming from that.
Yeah.
From that person.
Yeah. But
Yeah, no, I'm trying. I'm doing everything I can. You know, this podcast is a great way for me to keep at it. And it's really cool to be validated by another comedian in the Chicago scene saying, "Hey man, I'm liking the podcast clips. I'm digging it."
Yeah.
And that's like, to me, like, first off, he doesn't have to even reach out.
right. Yeah.
He has there's no like requirement of him to do that. And it's just really cool. It makes me feel like, oh, maybe there is some traction happening
Right.
here.
When I built the relationship with Todd, you know, we went to that show at the Astra and had an absolute blast. It was fun. You know, it was a lot of fun. We drank beer, we laughed. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, then Todd was like, he was cool, man. He's an awesome guy, and like we took him back to the to Snaps. Because a buddy of ours was bartending at Snaps, and we're like, "Hey, man, there's a little club down the road here. They got great food and even better drinks." He said, "Come on, come down. We could get you back to your hotel if you need be. It's no sweat." So we commenced to get annihilated with Uncle Todd, for lack of better words, and it's super cool. And then when we started this podcast, and we had questions about, what. If you had to pick a host website, which one would you go with? Or if you had to do this, what would you do? And it's like, he didn't have to reply, because that show was in like 2010, 2012.
Very long time ago.
Yeah, and it was like, or 13 or 16. I don't even remember what it was, but it's like, it was a
while
long
ago.
time ago.
While ago.
And he didn't have to message us back.
BC, before COVID.
Yeah, exactly. BC, that's right. He didn't have to message us back, and he did. And I was like, holy cow, dude. Like, he really hit us back up, And I think that was super cool. And it's like those guys, like Todd is I would say professional podcaster, because like he started Heartland Radio with the Pat McAfee show. He worked for Barstool Sports. Like he was on the scene, and
he's on Bob and Tom a lot.
Yeah.
Like that's Bob and Tom is as much a podcast
show
as it is a radio show.
Exactly, man. And so like your guy in Chicago reaching back out to you, Uncle Todd hitting us back up at the Dutchmen, it's like just
that's awesome.
It's really neat. And I think it's because those guys know like where they started. They all were like grassroots podcasters.
Yeah.
They were grassroots podcasters. They cut their teeth in a basement, like in between two beautiful plants.
Very real.
Very, very beautiful, well manicured plants.
We keep them very well manicured and watered.
Yes. And it's like, that is, I think, the rawness of it and everything. Like, I love it, man. I love everything about it.
Yeah, this comedian in Chicago, it's funny. When I met him, he was hosting a late night open mic, and at the Comedy Bar in Chicago.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the spot I go to because they have they have good mics there.
Yeah.
And their microphones are good quality, but I'm just saying, like, the open mic is good.
Yeah.
And so he was hosting it, and I went, and I didn't get drawn, but I stuck around because I was like, well, I don't have time to get to another mic. I also don't necessarily know, like, what's a good option to get to.
Right. And you probably just don't want to walk around Chicago.
And I also, there was a little bit of, not going to lie, there was a little bit of, like, relief of, like, okay, well, I don't have to do one tonight. I can buck up and get one tomorrow night.
Yeah.
You know? And so I stuck around and watched, and typically comedians don't do that. If they don't get drawn, they move on to the next thing.
Okay.
And so they asked me, they're like, oh, you know, and I'm like, well, I'm an out of town guy. I'm like, that's fine. I'm gonna sit here and I'll watch some comedy. It'd be good. I'm still gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
Well, there was a little miscommunication, and this guy ended up putting me on the list very last.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know it was gonna happen. So he
Okay.
announced my name.
Oh,
and
no.
I'm talking, dude, like gut drop,
Oh.
man. And so
excuse me. What did you
I
say?
get up there, and of course there's like 10 people in the room. It's
I think that would be even worse.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, lighter crowds are worse because 2 nights later I did one for a packed house. It was electric.
Yes.
You know, but I get up there and, you know, I did 3 minutes. It wasn't great because I was so flustered
And uptight,
but it was
I'm
actually
sure.
really good for me.
Yeah.
And I interacted with him a little bit
Right.
and his co-host.
Right.
And you know, I think that he kind of was like, oh, that guy's got a little bit entertaining.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so he followed me immediately afterwards. And I know, like, social media is social media.
Yeah.
But a guy like you're saying with Uncle Todd, there's no reason for someone here
Right.
to be interested in someone
down here. Yeah.
unless they actually care.
Yeah.
And so, not trying to be sappy, but it's just really cool and it's encouraging because there's not
it
a
is.
lot of
like that was huge for us because he was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, Todd McComas. Because when I messaged, because Casey was at that same comedy show and he went to Snaps with us and everything else, you know, and he was like, and I was like, I think I'm gonna reach out to Uncle Todd. And Casey was like, no way. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I still got him on I still got him on Messenger or whatever. I said, yeah, I'm gonna shoot him a note, see what he thinks. And the next day, you know, we were getting together or something. Guess who wrote me back? And he's like, "Get out of here, man!" I'm like, "No way, dude! Look!" And I sent him a screenshot of the message, and he was like, "That is so cool, man."
Yeah, that's awesome.
but-
I got a couple people on my list that I'm like, you know what? If I can get these guys on the podcast, not only is it going to be entertaining,
Yeah.
but I think it's like a good step of like.
Oh, I fangirl
Just-
hard whenever I got.
I'm just trying to get my foot in the door in
Yeah.
as many places and sometimes the door won't open and that's fine.
Hey, and that's same.
You know?
Like I appreciate you bringing me, you know, because this is something definitely out of my comfort zone. Like I'm not used to being. Like in this, like, you know, that's one thing you
Yeah.
get in this podcast zone. Like when we get into the lounge.
You guys have
And the
a
lights-
particular style.
Yes, when the lights come on in the lounge and we get things going and the mics, we fire up the
Yeah.
old torches and we listen to some music to start out with and get in the right headspace and we just roll, man.
And let's just say it's not fueled by Red Bull.
No, it's not. It's usually an Anheuser product, which we are proudly supportive to drink. Which I
Yeah.
know that's tough times, but we'll make it work.
We'll all get through it.
Yeah,
Everybody will get
for
through
sure. But anyway, no, I once again, I just want to say I'm very appreciative for the opportunity.
Hey, this is my effort to kick my dad off the podcast, and
Which I am not happy to be a part of.
yeah, that's fine. It's fine. I know you're on a PR thing right now, so
yeah,
you're trying to
yeah.
make sure you're not throwing him under the bus. No, this is my attempt to branch out
Yeah.
and to have different conversations, and you know it. Because this show is nothing without my dad. Like, it's so much harder to start, and it never would have gotten this traction if it wasn't for him and his personality.
For sure.
No question.
Right.
But there's also, like, just me trying to do something on the comedy side.
Yeah.
And having different conversations with different people.
Right.
I think it's going to help that a lot.
Yeah.
Let's get into some interesting conversation here. How about that?
Do it.
Let's make a transition. This is a link I found this week, and I thought you might be interested in this as well. This actually has some audio.
Oh, good.
So let's see if I could get this to play.
Okay.
Up on the YouTube. Okay, you hear that?
Uh-huh.
All right, we're going to switch over. This is a YouTube account called Rib Ticklers. And you got to be careful saying that.
Yeah.
And this is Ostrich Sounds. Have you ever heard what an ostrich sounds like?
I don't know if I have or not.
Take a look.
Hello, where is everyone?
And so what's great about this?
Oh,
YouTube,
we got
it's
the commentary.
Got a little translation.
Oh, okay.
And
Hello.
So this is a baby ostrich making some sounds.
Like, where are you?
And they've got a little translation. Here we go.
Oh.
Here we
In
go.
the next room.
And then they respond to talking to each other.
Oh, in the next room.
And that's it, translating it. Yep. First off, I think we should evalluate this situation here. This is in a living room. And there's an ostrich.
Why is there an ostrich in this person's house?
And this isn't like...
Is that what a normal, average, run-of-the-mill ostrich, baby? Like a juvenile ostrich? It looks like sort of a leopard bird.
I was going to say it's got like a leopard print.
It's like a leopard bird.
But these people, this is like, honestly, this might not even be, this is a computer room.
Yeah.
This isn't even a living room.
Like, what is that? Is that?
Here we go.
Oh, gosh.
Can I taste that?
It's hissing. Ostriches have they got some versatility.
Hissing. Oh, boy.
Tiny.
Yeah. That's a good.
Oh.
Can you do that? Hang on.
Oh.
Let's see if you can do that. Yeah.
That really gets them.
That's pretty good.
That's what the males do when they're
Puffing that neck out.
Hear my call.
Oh, what's it? Hang on. What do they say?
Hear my call.
Hear my call. That's a good translation.
Sometimes my neck does that when I look down too far.
Yeah. Well, listen. I had to show you that. It's the dumbest video I've ever seen in my life.
I love it, man. That's what I love about YouTube. Like, you can literally do anything.
I came across that because I was showing my son was looking at. He wanted to look up some stuff about animals
For sure.
last night.
Yeah.
And I came across that video and I said, I got to show that to Mace. It might bomb. This is what I love about comedy. This is what I love.
I think that's
that was
how
a
you-
risk. That was a risk.
The reward is there because I am so easily amused with dumb crap like that, man. I love it.
I look at that video and if I showed that to Dad, he'd go, "What are we watching here?"
I don't want to talk about that.
I don't want to talk about that. He's like, I already know what sound ostriches make. I don't need to know any more about it. And so, here I am. I'm taking a risk here.
Yeah.
Do I have to leave this in?
No.
No, but I probably will.
Yeah. Because
I don't mind bombing in front of people. Yeah. Listen, that's part of it. That's part of it. Well, listen, we got about, let me see. We've been recording for over an hour. This might be one of the longest running episodes.
Well, good. I
But
think
I'm
it's
fine
just
with that.
because I'm used to it.
Well, you're used to long episodes. I'm fine. I could keep recording.
Yeah.
That's the thing. At this point, Dad would have been on the floor by now.
Sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
This
why
is-
he's on administrative leave.
He is, and listen, there's a lot of internal rumblings about it, but we'll get through it together.
Yeah, together.
So, Dad, if you're listening or watching, we hope you get better.
Yeah.
There was one time we recorded, and we recorded about 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And we got done about 9 o'clock, which right now it's like 11 o'clock. I hope that's
You're
okay.
good.
It was about 9 o'clock. We got done recording, and Dad, he goes, "Hey," he's like, "Can I sleep on your couch?" And I'm like, I guess. Can you not? It's only 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, you'll be home by 9:45.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm not gonna be able to make it."
That tired.
And there's more to it. Anyways, next morning I wake up, tell my wife, "Hey, my dad's on the couch, just so you know.
Yeah.
Sorry."
Yeah.
And so he got up and he left. Come to find out, my dad, he fell when we had that real bad snow.
Oh,
He got
yeah?
a severe concussion.
Oh, no.
It knocked him back to 1977.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm not even joking. So he fell, he hit, had a massive headache. We knew, probably got a concussion.
Oh, yeah.
Took a nap, woke up, was fine. They say you can sleep now.
Yeah. Yeah, now you can.
Now you can. Well, you can't sleep twice. Because he took another nap, he woke up, reset.
Really?
Back to 1977. Elvis just died 2 days ago. His parents were still alive, right? And we've talked about all this on the podcast,
Oh,
so I'm
wow.
not spilling any beans here.
Right.
But anyways,
he fully believed that.
he believed it. And this guy is a daggone Elvis Savant.
Right.
When he gets his head hit.
Oh, yeah.
When he rattles the cage, it brings up some information that's just been sitting there.
Oh, my goodness.
That information was like, all right, boys, it's time.
And Elvis
Let's go ahead.
Savant.
So me and him are actually, in August, we're going to go down to Memphis.
Yeah,
to
I've been there.
Graceland. Have you been to Graceland?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my gosh. Dad, he scheduled a trip. He's like, we're going to go prove that Elvis is alive. I was like, well, let me tell you. I don't know if you were just going to go walk around down there and start opening doors.
No.
But nonetheless, it's going to be an entertaining trip.
Yeah. No, it's cool, man.
He hit hard.
I guess.
And then he found out that he hit so hard that he had to have cataract surgery.
Oh, shoot.
And he just had that this week, but that's why the dude wouldn't drive at night, because he couldn't see. He couldn't see worth a darn.
God. I tell you what, that generation, man, wild. They're
It's a
just
different
tough old birds, man. That's crazy.
He really, and I give him a hard time. Dad, I love you. We all love you. This show is nothing without you.
That's right.
That is true. And if anything ever happens, the show will be different.
Oh, how?
That
yeah.
is for sure.
For sure.
We're not trying to replace you.
No, especially not with me, Mister.
Yeah, we're not trying to replace you. But that said, we're trying to move things forward here.
Yeah.
And we're trying to attract some sponsors, so we're trying to get more shows out.
For sure.
You know, like you guys are great because you guys get out a show every week.
Every week, man.
And that is almost a requirement if you're going to have people pay you to advertise.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just be once a month.
You know, there's no willy-nilly in this
I
game.
mean, we started that way. That's kind of what we were capable of doing. And finally, I just said, all right, we got to ramp it up.
Yeah.
And so here we are. But
consistency is key, my friend.
consistency is key. Let me know what y'all think about this episode. Hold your opinions about Mase.
Yeah.
We don't have to get into that right away. All right. Mase will be back. I might even have some of the other guys on.
Yeah, we'd love to. Or maybe we actually talked about having you over to the lounge.
Oh, yeah?
And you can dip your toes in our waters and see what you think.
That might be entertaining.
Heck yes, it will.
Bring a little clean comedy in.
Yeah, bring it on in.
I could be like a missionary.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Spreading the good Lord word.
Come in there talking about the Lord on your podcast.
Lord's work.
A missionary podcaster.
That's wild. There.
Go into these podcasts and bring some clean comedy.
That's good. We
Yeah.
like it.
That's funny. All right. Well, let us know what y'all think about this type of episode. It's definitely a lot different.
For sure.
It's interesting and it's fun.
Yeah. I love every minute of it, and I appreciate the opportunity.
I especially enjoyed the first 10 minutes that did not get recorded. Those were good.
The glory of digital media.
Yeah, those were good. But I think we got some good stuff.
That's good, man.
So, Mase, thanks for joining the show.
Curtis, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, we'll have you back for sure.
For sure.
And maybe even try to do something, with multiple of you guys or whatever. And yeah, I'd love to join you. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Come over, hang out with you guys. I'm
For
good friends
sure.
with Arlo
Yeah.
already, your producer.
That's right.
And so probably going to have Arlo on here.
Yeah, you should. He's a pretty good dude.
Yeah, we're going to have him on. And I'd love to get him on with Dad.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just want Dad. Sometimes I want to see Dad's reaction to people.
Yeah?
I think that could be some comedy.
Even better.
Because Arlo's such a smart dude.
Oh, he's very smart.
And I want Arlo to explain insurance
No.
to my dad
No.
on the podcast.
That would be terrible. I don't know, man. That would be good, but I don't know.
Trust me. My dad will derail that conversation.
You think so?
So quick that it'll make for some good entertainment. Well, here's the beauty of this board.
Tell me.
We also get a little outro, and this is how we do it. We hit this button. We say, all right, thanks everybody for coming. It's been great.
Appreciate you having me, brother.
That's right. We'll see you on the next episode.
Heck yeah.
This is always the part where Dad starts talking again before the music's out.
Yeah.
So then we have like a false ending, like every episode.
Yeah.
It's almost like staying after the credits
Yeah.
on a movie.
Just to see who.
Just to see if something else pops up.
Because usually there is.
It's literally, it's like every episode. He can't wait for that music to tail out. So there's always an after credits.
I love it, man. Heck yes.
Yeah.